He was like screaming it at the top of his lungs for no reason. Alright. Trying to get the cops to come over. He's being a Jew. He like came over and like sat here for like 10 minutes and didn't say anything. He was like, please somebody help me! They're killing me! Please! They're killing me! They're killing me! I want something now!
Jeez. Are we gonna play this recording?
No. Oh, is it recording? Watch the stars slip by my head, watching as I slip past dead. You were what I think I said. The gerbils in my ass are fed. The fishies are swimming alone in your pool. The froggies are croaking alone in your pool. Make room! Scream, madman! Make some room in your pool! 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 I'm a man of many faces. I die alone in unknown places. Something, something, something traces. Eat a turd and run the bases. The fishes are swimming, oh yeah, alone in your pool. The doggies are chirping, alone in your pool. Make some room! Make some room! Loud, loud! I kicked up like your pool! Pool! Pool!
Oh, okay. All right. That's enough. That's enough. That's enough government fun for the night. Oh my God. I'm probably just gonna end up turning this off. To be honest with you, I listen. It's 4 a.m. where you are. Well, who cares? Who cares what time it is? Time is meaningless. Time is a meaningless trifle that one need not concern oneself with. Time is merely time. People are pouring in a lot slower than usual. Well, you got to thank YouTube for that shit. YouTube is incredibly, hideously bad at notifying people. And oftentimes, our streams start this very way. The awkward shuffle while we wait for a decent number of people to get here so that we can start. And I've tried it different ways, too. Scheduling the stream seems to help, but not a whole lot, to be honest. Maybe not enough to warrant, doing. Me and your time zone have feelings. I don't care about your feelings, dude. Your time zone and your time zone's feelings are meaningless. Do you understand me? Meaningless. Play the fart sample, then maybe they'll come. Okay. That's a good point. Like we could try some superstitious shit. Like I'm not above it.
Fart! 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 Fart!
Okay, now we'll see. We'll give it a second and see if they come fucking rampaging in. There's a good chance that maybe it's just like, too late and people aren't going to watch. That's, oh my God, look at that. Jumped by 18.
Fart! 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 Fart!
What's the worst fart? The worst fart I've ever suffered? I don't know, dude. The answer to that is tough. It's like farts are always kind of bad, but I mean, I don't know, dude. Dude, I don't think you can really trust the numbers that YouTube is spitting out, honestly. I think there's probably, you know, I don't know. From in my experience, until you've been streaming for about an hour, you have no clue how many people are watching you. I mean, I can tell from just the speed of the chat that YouTube is being fucky about sending out fucking, you know, whatnots today. But what are you gonna do? In the land of Malta, a strange and foreign state, where the men are hearty and do enjoy a steak, and the steaks are often served sizzling on the plate. It's there that Galen did wait. Two fillets. Sorry about that. Here in Finland, it's actually a huge deal for people to look at other people's money when they publish the taxes. But nobody truly cares. It's like a huge show for one day. Dude, can I ask you something, man? Can you help me just move to Finland? Because I'm ready. I'm ready to be a Finnish citizen. I think I was supposed to be born in Finland. And I was, by just sheer accident, I ended up here on, you know, planet America. And I should have been born on planet fucking Finland. I feel a genuine kinship with the Finnish people that I cannot explain. I will not pretend to be able to explain. It's strange and it's wondrous and it's disconcerting. What are your thoughts on infobesity and analysis paralysis, Paul? Okay, so for one, I want to make sure that I'm talking about the right kind of topic here. And by the way, I hope you guys don't mind, but I don't need fucking headphones. So you have to stare at me headphoneless. I've been wearing headphones all fucking day. I'm done wearing headphones. Okay. So you're talking about the fact that we live in a society is basically what I'm getting from what you said. No. We live in within a culture that has made information available immediately, and these two kind of things that you said, you know, analysis paralysis and information overload or whatever. Look, I hate to sound like a fucking conspiracy theorist here, guys, but you know what? The people that listen to me know what to disregard and what to take to heart. They're smart enough to, like, you know, hey, I can take this part of what Paul said and disregard this part that I think is stupid. But there's always going to be people that are going to label me a little bit crazy because I don't like I don't like the way things are going, and my radical idea is that we shouldn't be doing things that way anymore, and that seems to, and I understand why that sticks in people's fucking craw. But I think that it's by design, dude. Like, I think that the whole idea that the media is now running 24 hours and pushing sometimes fucking completely contrary narratives within the same day on the same network, seem to be in bed with the political parties. You know, the list goes on, right? So I think it's by design. I think it's one of the tactics that has been used to divide and conquer the American people. Let's give both of them political firebrands to listen to that get them all rallied up into a political frenzy and make them feel like they're really affecting change. Because in these cynical times, you know, it's hard to make people feel like they can really change anything. Well, we need to make them realize that they can change politics. Meanwhile, of course, they can change nothing. We need to keep them divided, keep the house divided amongst itself. A house divided amongst itself cannot stand. One of the many pieces of wisdom from the Bible. I think that's from the Bible, isn't it? I believe so. I believe I'm correct. And that's why we're here. Now, guys, I hate to say this, but I'm not here to, like, I'm not going to end this or cap this off with like and here's how we can fix it. I don't think we can. I think I'm giving you guys kind of a post-mortem right now as to what happened, how did we get here, why are things so fucked up? But when it comes to the specific question that was asked, because I've gone on my own little tangent and turned the question into what I wanted it to be. So in regards to the specific question that was asked, analysis paralysis and information overload. Yeah, I think that it's part of the design to keep people so absolutely bloated with information that they can't tell what's important anymore. And in fact, you know, by kind of design over a long enough period, which I think we're here in America, we're living in that period now. Over a long enough period, it doesn't matter. Like, what's true and what isn't doesn't matter anymore. People don't care to check anymore because there's really no simple way to discern it. Everything's become a matter of opinion now. I mean, you guys have noticed that, like, news shows have increasingly become just opinion shows, right? Where you have somebody with a strong opinion that comes on and they say, this is my interpretation. You know, so long ago, the news media just started giving us avatars for our own political belief and started running that shit through the fucking mill endlessly until, well, I guess here we are. Do you believe me if I told you that I just came into an Eggo waffle? You just came into one? Would I believe you if you told me you did that? We think that it is like some kind of fucking like super magical feat or something? Like you busted a nut on a waffle. How is that unbelievable? Especially out of this fucking audience. Like, I'd be shocked if you told me you'd never busted a nut on a waffle. You want to really shock me? Tell me you're not doing something completely ridiculous and deviant. Otello is awesome. All my fucking specters are awesome. And you better worship their fucking ground, lick their boots, suck their dicks, and lick their clits when they're in here. And you better fucking do it nice, too. Because if I ever see one of you guys shit talking a single specter or taking a specter out of context or trying to fucking pin the blame on a specter or something, let me tell you how gone you are. Specterhood is about brotherhood. It's about a brotherhood of man and a sisterhood. I don't care anymore. Oh. Well, aren't you a special one? Look who it is. Look who also doesn't care anymore. It's Cricket. Hello, Cricket. Can I pet you, or are you going to not want me to pet you? He's like, no, don't you pet me. Don't you pet me, Dad. He did. He nosed the door open, and I was like, nah, man. You gots to go. I know the regulars in here. I don't ban them unless they go totally out of line, of course. And look, dude, a ban is an undoable thing. People act like bans are like the fucking craziest thing. Like if I and like, look, I always unban people. People send me shit. Like if I won't unban the same person like 3 or 4 times. Like if you've been banned that many times out of the chat, you're just too dumb to live, dude. Me unbanning you is not going to do anything to hurt or help or hinder you or fucking, avail you of any fucking help at all. It's you're just done. Paul, what's your favorite schlocky horror flick? Schlocky? My favorite schlocky horror flick? I hate favorite questions. I really, really do. I really wish. I understand where they come from, but I really hate them. That being said, if I got to pick a schlocky horror movie, there's this old one that I used to watch with my stepdad. He had it on Betamax called Day of the Triffids. It's made in the 50s. If you haven't seen it, I suggest you give it a look. I think they did a remake on it. Don't bother with that. Watch the original black and white Day of the Triffids. Dun, dun, dun. The Day of the Triffids. I'm going to see if I can find that intro for you guys because you got to hear this shit, dude. This guy was a master at the intro. How does one separate the subjective schema from objective truth? In epistemology, knowledge is a justified true belief. So how does one justify or distinguish a belief from a truth, Paul? I think you might be coming to the wrong guy with that question. I don't know that there's actually an answer to that question because I don't know that truth is a concept that exists except theoretically. I think that there are certain things that we as human beings know that are close to the truth, at least as we can perceive them. But to say that that is the absolute and fundamental truth would be like cavemen saying that fire is a punishment from the gods and saying, nope, we know the truth. Do not touch the burning thing in the woods. It is from God. It is his anger. You know what I mean? Like, it seems kind of like anti-curiosity to imply that there is truth, which doesn't necessarily mean that everything is opinion. I think that there's a middle, like some kind of middle way between opinion and fact. Maybe justified opinion, peer-reviewed opinion. How about that? But I mean, we live in a society that has learned to worship opinion. It started with like talk shows, and then it morphed into reality shows, and now life is just a big reality show. Now everybody's a little burgeoning reality star just waiting to be discovered and retweeted by the right group of people. Everybody's got to share every little fucking thought. As John Milton in The Devil's Advocate said, Mankind connected digitally to every eager impulse. I'm pretty extreme. There's no objective reality. It's literally all in your head. In your head. In your head. Zombie. Zombie. I mean, even if that's true though, it's I put that kind of theory in the same basket that I put like simulation theory and solipsism. Like they may be true, but they're, you know, unprovable at this point. And knowing the truth of them wouldn't change how people have to function in their lives. Your bills would be due at the end of the month, no matter whether, you know, it's all in our head or not. So, you know, if we could realize like Neo or Rufus Sewell's character in Dark City, that the reality that we're living in is not real, and gain powers in the meantime, now I'd be whistling a different tune. As far as I understand, that's not the case. As far as I understand, you can speculate all you want about some things, but there just ain't no knowing, not yet. Which is why I think that this whole truth concept needs to be tossed out. I often lament that we live in a post-truth world, but I honestly think that, you know, at least taken very literally, that may be a good thing. Truth implies certainty, and humanity needs to give up on the idea of certainty. We as a species are not certain, nor do we live in certain times or under certain circumstances. And truth and certainty are almost synonymous in my mind, and I don't like either word, honestly, used unironically or used other than how I'm using them. Like, I don't like someone saying that they have the truth. I don't like someone saying that they are the owners of certainty. This is not my favorite thing in the world to hear. It's an appeal to possibility and an untestable hypothesis. Oh, you're talking about something else. Something else up there, dude. Well, there's some heavy modding going on. Asbestos Fingers and Otello, fucking, their fingers are flying. That's good. I'm happy to hear it. Paul, as an inspiring indie horror filmmaker, what's some advice you could give as a horror fan? Sorry for the questions. I really value your opinion on the horror genre. The horror genre needs more small budget psychological horror films and maybe even chamber films. It needs more intimate films. The horror genre, I believe, when it comes to like indie films, are just a glut of slasher films. And they come off as like fan service films or like fanboy films celebrating their favorite slashers and stuff. You can't really do that if you want to make a horror movie that's really going to have impact on people. Or if you are, you have to take it in a direction that's so different and so uniquely attractive on its own merits that it transcends the fact that there's literally a billion fucking horror movies out there that involve some boogly woogly running around and killing people, and then some other fucking people. Whoa, what the fuck is happening? Holy shit. We got the fucking. What's going on with Ayla Mao, dude? Dude, has Ayla Mao gone off his rocker, dude? Hey, Lamau. Well, I mean, like he's just like banning people that I can go unban in 1 second. So, if that's true, Lamau, I can't deny that I'm disappointed. He's banned like 50 people. Damn. Well, Lamau, the experiment sometimes goes awry. I mean, I don't know what you're gonna. I don't know what to do about it other than remove your Spectre hood and unban everyone that you've banned. It won't take me a tick. That is a bummer, dude. Yeah, I know. I kind of liked Lamau. I liked the chaotic nature of Lamau, but what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Yeah, dude, he was a chill dude. At least I thought he was. Yeah, it's now an all blue chat, dude. Lamau has banned everyone. It's mods and mods. Wait a minute. Maybe this is a good thing. I got to think about this. Do I want to punish Lamau for this? Or was he doing what needed to be done all along? All it takes is one bad day. This is true. I have learned this as well. Well, Lamau, I modded you years ago. But as of now, you are officially unmodded. It's a total bummer. But what are you going to do? I mean, he's now the second or third Spectre to be unspectered. It's an inauspicious title to hold. But it has to happen sometimes. I mean, what can you do? Now I go about the business of unblocking everyone once again. A simple thing to do. A simplistic thing. Yeah, dude. You disgrace your wrench, dude. You disgrace the Spectres. You misused my trust in you. And for a troll job, this is a pretty fucking weak one, dude. Like for like a troll job, this is pretty fucking lame. Everyone's now unbanned, by the way. And I did it while smoking a joint and talking to you. So I guess good troll. I guess good troll, my dude. I don't keep a long ban list here. I pretty routinely flush the ban lists. I probably shouldn't tell people that, but it's true. It takes a while for people to be unblocked. Unfortunately, would that I could make it faster, but it'll happen. So those of you that are blocked out there and can't speak, just give it time. 'Tis a minor inconvenience at best, and really the only thing that a Spectre can do to fuck with the chat is, you know. I should mod you. Yeah, good idea. Great idea. And let me just start modding more people. On the night when I have a mod ban every active user in the chat. Yeah, let's do that. That sounds like a fucking fantastic idea. Man. He got everybody, dude. He nailed Mr. Naughty Priest. Look at this. Look at this list. You're a sweet boy, that's good. Refreshing might help. Yeah, just refresh. It'll take a little while. Some of you will be faster than others. Like unbans or like YouTube is a piece of shit, like everything. You know, like I said. It's like anything in life. Like what kind of like can you let's examine the long con troll job that A. Lamau has pulled. You have to wonder, like, did I piss off A. Lamau? Or was he always pissed at me? Was he an infiltrator from the start who always had planned on one day deciding he was going to just go on a big banning spree like a straight G? Or was this a spur of the moment thing and he snapped? It's interesting that this happened tonight. I did call it troll school, so that may have triggered something in him. That may have been like a trigger phrase. He's like, as programming kicked in. You know, this is possible, I'm sure. But yeah, I was gonna talk about trolling tonight. I know we've had like long conversations about trolling, and I'm not gonna rehash a lot of my old trolling stories and stuff, but I would talk about trolling and what is and isn't trolling anymore. Because I've gotten so confused that I think it's become an almost meaningless word now. I don't think that there is a catch-all troll that exists anymore. I think that there are different types of, people hunting for different types of reactions in different ways for different reasons. And I think human beings have probably been doing this since the dawn of time. I don't think that none of this is new. I don't think we're the first generation to figure out how to make people mad by saying mean things or whatever. You know. So it's my contention that we're all fucking trolls at this point. Like it's a new position and it's kind of a hot take, I'll admit. I'm not fully married to the idea just yet. But I am pretty much 100% sure that it's not the same as what I used to think it was. Like the meaning of troll has changed. I can feel it in the water. I can feel it in the earth. Words in general are very vague and arbitrary. People love their equivocation and arguments via ambiguity. Yeah, I mean, but that's kind of what language is designed for. No, it's designed to add more and more nuance and more, like it continues to evolve so that people can express themselves in more and more varied and interesting ways. Crom laughs at your wins. Okay, yeah, we had a mod go rogue, and so I've just mass unbanned everybody from the channel, but YouTube takes a while sometimes to process unbans. Reloading might help, but yeah, for the most part, don't worry about it. If you're banned now, you won't be by the end of the show. Didn't Paul just yeah, I did the mass unblock, but sometimes that hangs up and it takes a while to process fully and all of that shit. So I've done it before, and it's not an instantaneous thing, unfortunately. Yeah, I just thought that like A. Lamau was fighting some fucking spam fight, so I just ignored it. I'm used to seeing that shit when people come by to drop the N bombs, but to have one of our ranks turn, maybe I need to be suspicious of the Spectres. Maybe the Spectres have too much power. Execute Order 66 on yourselves, Spectres. Prove your loyalty. Prove to me that you are loyal. I'm kidding. Each one of you will be subject to inspection in the coming weeks. I suggest you prepare yourself to justify your specterhood. It has been made clear by I. Lamau that my trust in the Spectres, and indeed my philosophy behind the Spectres, has been flawed from the beginning. I have stratified my power too far. Too many have been given wrenches. Too many have been given unlimited power over the chat with no accountability. Well, I'm telling you this. That ends tonight. The traitor A. Lamau did very limited damage in the long run with his long con. But he did a lot of good. He has awakened me. He has awakened me to the possibility that there may be other vipers in the nest. There may be other specters waiting in the wings to execute their own version of Order 66. There will be no mod purge, you plebeian. I'll not be told to do by a wrench holder, let alone you. Let alone you. Mod purge, mod purge. What you gonna do? You should have waited until the stream had ended and you had left. I mean, you'd still unban everyone, but it'd be longer before you do. Yeah, that's true. This would have, yeah, that's true. It would have been way better for him to just sit through a whole stream so he has like the whole chat log and then just go through and ban everybody that chatted all night until everybody's gone. And then, yeah, because it would take me a while to realize what had happened. I'd be like, where are all these people? And then I'd look and find it, and he'd be gone, and he'd be, but he's not like, you know, like you can tell this wasn't like a smart troll job. Like it was a long troll job, but it wasn't a smart one. Like he definitely could have done way more damage than was done. I mean, it kind of sucks for people because it's, you know, it's an inconvenience for people who like to chat and shit, but you know, like I said, the damage is undone. It's just waiting for YouTube to catch up. Nobody can talk for like 10 minutes of the next stream. Yeah. I mean, like, I can turn the chat off at any point. Like, having the chat visible may be the mistake I'm making. Like, I don't know exactly what it is, but this has caused me to rethink my strategies. There may be privileges removed. Maybe it's time that the chat is not seen by anyone but me, so that there's really no reason to do such a thing, because no one will ever know when I'm actually reading the chat and whose chats that I'm reading, because the chat's just not visible. That might be the way to go. Setting up an alternate chat might be the way to go as well, taking a little page out of other people's books that have done the same. Setting up a little landing page with a login that simply exists so that people can chat on Highdeology. This would, of course, allow me to immediately screen mass bot signups and all that shit. And then I could just bypass YouTube's shit system altogether. And that would make it a foregone conclusion that a mod could never even try to go rogue. Now that I'm looking at this, actually, so here's what happens sometimes. So when there's a lot of people on your ban list, YouTube, like I said, it'll either take a very long time for YouTube to clear your mass ban list, which is so stupid, because it shouldn't. I mean, I'm fine with it taking time, but sometimes it'll hang up, and that's what's happening now. That's why people are getting unbanned at a slower rate. And as I'm kind of going through this and unbanning people one at a time to try and get the number down, I'm thinking to myself, like, dude, I just cleared the ban list. Like, I don't know when it was, but it was like a month ago or something. And there are a ton of fucking names on this list. Like people that don't belong here, that weren't in here tonight. So I think A. Lamau's been knocking it dead for a hot minute. I think he's been banning people like covertly and silently, like when I'm not paying attention. So maybe this is a better troll than I thought it was. Because looking at this, dude, there's no way there's this many fucking people banned. So maybe he's been doing exactly what you said. I believe now. Oh, this is taking a turn. I believe now. That for a number of weeks, A. Lamau, and maybe longer, maybe he was doing it before, but I think that for a number of weeks at the very least, that A. Lamau has been kind of waiting till the stream ends and then just banning people. That's what it looks like. Because there are just fuck ton of people banned. Like a fuck ton. Like, I know that, like, you know, people get banned and shit, and bans get thrown around quite often here and all that. But, man, dude, there's hundreds of people on this list. And there's names that would never get banned that I didn't see tonight. So he's been doing it for a while, dude. He's been knocking it dead for a hot minute. So props to A. Lamau, I guess. That went under the radar for a hot minute. Maybe he just started doing it tonight because he got tired of it, me not noticing and not caring. Fuck though, dude. Damn. Well, like I said, I'll take care of it. What a freak. Why did he do it? I don't know, for the salty reaction. I think he was hoping for the salty reaction or something. I'm just kind of having fun figuring out what happened. My other account got muted, so here's 5. Was gonna send it from there, so mods are lame. Well, that this particular mod in question was an evil genius, but yes, it was lame what he did. But thank you for logging in on your other one or whatever, and everybody should be unbanned soon. I am working now, even now, to emancipate you. The key is to do it a batch at a time. This is how I did it last time when I did my ban clearing, because it kept doing the same thing. It's like, you have too many bans to clear. When it did that, like, I thought the ban clear was going to be easy because I was like 50. That's going to auto clear immediately. But now I'm looking at this list. There's way more than fucking 50 people on this list, dude. There's way more. So he's been knocking it dead, yo. Everything's gonna be unbanned. Like, I don't know how. There's no other way to do it. You know what I mean? That's fine though. I have mods here who know what to do, even if they are under more scrutiny now than ever. My unwavering trust in them has been shaken to its very core. Oh, I just figured out a way that I can make sure that Jason can't be banned, but he doesn't have to have a wrench, so I might do that too. I can put him on the approved users list, which I think makes people ban immune. Check your DMs. Maybe he sent you a ransom note. Who knows how deep this goes? I don't know how to check my YouTube. I don't even really know. Does YouTube even have DMs? I'll probably check my Twitter or something. I mean, I don't need a consolation prize. The poor bastards in my chat that have been banned forever and like don't know why, they're the ones that deserve the prize, No, I probably deserve it. I just thought I'd get $5-ish of trolling before getting muted. Lol, weird function. Oh, okay. Lol, weird trolling method. Okay. But whatever, bro. I've been trolled. Please don't do it again. Ooh, that got me salty when you gave me $10. There has to be a word for the frustration from bad coding. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even want to think about coding. But a company like Google, who's owned YouTube now for what, like 10 years or some shit, 8 years, they got no fucking excuse. Damn, dude. Poor goat versus fish. He banned everybody, dude. What a villain in our midst. When was it that A. Lamau turned? Maybe he thinks the world is ending and he's like, fuck it. I'm going to exercise the little power that I do have. And I'm going to nuke Paul's whole entire Highdeology chat. For days on end. I'll ban anyone who says a word. Paul will never be the wiser. Oh, A. Lamau. Et tu, Brute. Yeah, A. Lamau was chill as fuck. That's how he got, like, look, Brianna Camp is all fucking banned up in here. Canadian Fuhrer is banned up in here. Look at this shit. He's been on a fucking tear. Old school people. MDX Fiend. I mean, like people that have been around for a hot minute. He's been knocking it dead. So here's the thing. I don't think he did this like over the course of weeks. I think he's been doing it for a hot minute. Maybe he just had a bot doing it, and I happened to stream while the bot was doing it or something. But man, yeah, dude, he's been knocking it. He's been knocking it dead for a hot minute here. This is like everybody. He's banned the whole chat. It could be any one of you. Yeah, he could be a sock puppet of any one of you. What do you think of mod brutality or the mods banning people for simply having dissenting opinions or challenging their worldviews, essentially expecting the chat to be an echo chamber? If that's honestly happening, tell me which mod did it and show me an instance, like screen cap it, and I'll probably take away the mod's powers. Like I really don't see mods doing that. I see mods banning stupid people who are repetitive and annoying out of the chat usually, but like if you can show me an instance where somebody posted a legit challenging worldview question or whatever and got banned because one of my mods was salty, then I'll talk to them about it. But I'm not just going to like unmod everybody on the insinuation. You know what I mean? I'm not stupid. Have you thought about using Streamlabs for Highdeology? He also shadow banned me at least a few days ago. Damn, dude. Yeah. You guys don't understand. Like, he's been knocking them dead for a while here. He's been doing this for a minute. This took some time. And I hope it was scripted. Like, I hope he is like a script kiddie and he downloaded a mass ban bot or whatever from the secret hacker board on Fortune. Like, I hope he didn't just sit and, like, one by one ban all these fucking poor saps, dude. Indoctrinated by the Reapers, huh? Yeah, so people are starting to show back up, so you can tell that the unban is starting to slowly roll out over YouTube's archaic system. If not, his fingers were on fire. Yeah, dude. If not, the Cheeto dust was thick in the air and the smell of stale Cheeto farts and the squeaks of tortured chairs, dude. He's been just like slamming Adderall for 7 days straight and banning anybody he can think of that he's ever seen in a Highdeology chat. He's been knocking them dead for weeks. See, here's the thing. If this is a long con, if they've gotten to another troll, I unban everybody and then they do this again. So I'm just gonna have to start looking at this. I have to start looking at this list once it's, officially back to 0 and making sure that it's got the commensurate amount of bans. You know what I mean? Like, I got to be wise to this ban attempt because he might have other plans. Like, maybe they flipped somebody else. Otello might be the next fucking Brutus, dude. You losing money, Paul. I don't do this for money. I do my other show for money. I do this for fun, and the money's kind of like a little extra dodeca fun. You know what I mean? Kawaii Cost should stay banned. Nah, he's getting unbanned too. Everybody's getting the unban. My magnanimous nature knows no bounds. My mercy and grace knows no bounds. I drew your blobfish, Paul. You can trust me. I mean, can I, though? What if that was part of your long troll job, too, These are things that I must consider over many long nights, over many cups of bitter ale. Only bitter ale And strong gillyweed can put a man in the position that he needs to be in order to truly discern the nature of another man. Maybe he did this to get someone's accounts unbanned. Maybe, but I like I said, I routinely clear my bans. So I've done it 4 or 5 times where I've just gone through and cleared out my ban list. I recently did it. I think it was like a month or 2 ago, maybe a month and a half. And he's been doing this for some time. So this was a concerted effort to attempt to harm Highdeology, because some of these people might have gotten, pissed off and never come back. You see what I'm saying? The depth of this troll job was not immediately apparent to me. He's done nothing that isn't fixable. How did we figure this out? Whatever script he was running started to run during the show, and it started showing up in the chat how many people he was banning. Either that, or he just got tired of the ruse and couldn't find anybody else to ban. And just started to reveal himself or whatever and just ban everybody. The call is coming from inside the house. Oh my God. Get out. Why though? Why? Certainly I'm safer waiting here. No, you don't understand, Cindy. A Lamau is inside the house. No. No. Yeah, dude, I'm like Kaiser Sose. At the end of this stream, I'm going to get up and I'm going to stop streaming. I'm going to be like, all right, I'll see you guys next time. It's been pretty awesome streaming, and good night, folks. And we're clear. And then I'm going to be like, as soon as I'm going to get up and I'm going to take my shirt off, and I'm going to have a big I Lamau tattoo on my chest that you guys have never seen. I'm just going to stretch, take off the fat suit. It was all part of my plan all along. Maybe he had co-conspirators. That's what I'm saying here. I don't think so. He actually banned DFF. So I don't know how he did that. Like, I don't know when DFF... I guess mods can go and ban other channels even if they don't chat. Maybe it is TJ. Maybe so. He banned Deep Fat Fried from Highdeology, dude. Paul is his co-conspirator, yeah. Paul is his co-conspirator. He opened the door slowly. Creep. And I Lamau popped out. He's the new boogeyman, dude. When's he gonna ban everybody again? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I just lapsed into Mr. Magoo. Oh, bother. What's to be done about this I Lamau? Really milking this event, huh? Lame. Banana apple pie. How are you going to get banned while I'm in the process of unbanning everybody? I mean, what the fuck, dude? How stupid. No, 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 no. Paul thought that the main troll had died, and thus that the rest of the trolls withered away and slunk back to their troll holes. But then he found out that there was a second troll. So yeah, I was gonna talk about trolling, and it'll we're still gonna do that. I'm gonna work on this for a little while, and see how much I can whittle this endless fucking list down. It's actually getting smaller now. Like I've actually made a significant dent in it. But if you guys want to know, for the last I think 30 minutes, I've been just kind of clicking X's next to people's names to make the list a little smaller so I can do the mass unban. I've been running a show and unbanning people one by one at the same time. That's the kind of professionalism that you can come to expect here on Highdeology. I do lament the damage that he may have done to a new person that came here and checked it out, only to find that they were banned for nothing. Maybe this is an object lesson. Maybe I, Lamau, did this to show me the folly of mass banning people who annoy me. See, Paul, it could happen to anyone. Here is proof. Start mass ban /YouTube.exe. Run command YNY. I'll teach Paul. I'll show him the error of his ways. Or maybe he envisioned it more like a Twilight Zone episode. One man, one Paul's ego, an internet personality. He thought he was speaking to his audience, and he treated them very cruelly. And one day he awoke to find that there was no audience left to ban, and that he had awoken that day not in the real world, but in the Twilight Zone. Paul, the censorship king. Dude, is there something higher than a king? Isn't an emperor like better than a king? Can I be the censorer, sense emperor? Paul's ego, the sense emperor. I like it. I'm going to go with that. Paul's ego, sense emperor of the internet. Yeah, it is actually kind of apropos that this happened tonight, because I was going to talk about trolling tonight, and look at what we've been doing. We've been having a frank discussion of trolling tonight. Paul's ego, king of the censors. King of the censors. Don't bother unbanning anyone. We're all AI bots to fulfill your delusions anyway. Oh shit. Mask off. That's crazy, dude. Am I some radical patient that's in treatment for like horrible schizophrenia, and you guys are just like representations of the voices in my head? Automatically generated by my doctors who watch me and see what I do. Oh, yes, he farted again. Subject is gassy. Be sure to cross-reference this with subject's intake of fatty foods. This is the Matrix. You're being harvested in real life for your sodium. Dope, dude. Cool. Dude, I'm actually happy about that. I'm very, very happy about that. I've been playing this Watch Dogs 2 shit. I didn't even play the first Watch Dogs. And I got to tell you, the story and kind of aesthetic of it are cringe, but the actual gameplay is pretty fun. Like, I started the game thinking like, oh, cool. You know, it's going to be one of those like stealth games where I can choose to be like totally pacifistic and do all these things without killing people. And it is. I mean, I guess I could technically. I'm definitely given the tools to not kill everybody and to get through it without doing that. But as soon as I saw some of the deadly shit that I could unlock as a hacker in the game, I was like, fuck these people. Fuck these maggots feasting on the carcass of the world. I'm sick to death of these maggots. Watch Dogs was an interesting idea. It sucks. The original game was more well known for its graphics controversy. I completely forgot they made a sequel. Yeah, the second one is the story is top fucking cringe, dude. It is like the 90s like hackers aesthetic, but not even like so bad it's good like that movie is. Like, it's just like they have this hacker setting that I guess the first game, it was not, like I said, I've never fucking played the first game, so I don't know for sure, but the first game looked like it had like a really dark kind of, you know, gritty Blade Runner-esque kind of look to it. And this game is not that. This game is like, wow, sick hack, bro. Go talk to our weird companion that wears the digital GIMP mask, and he's going to give you some more sick hacks to pull. Hack the planet, man. You know, it's like, it leaves me thinking, like, is this supposed to be like satire? Like, are they going for like a Saints Row kind of thing, but in the hackers type of universe? Or is this them trying to make a cool aesthetic that people are going to be into? Or is it some combination of both? Is it did it start as one and then was made to go more towards the other by, you know, interference from the studio or something? And then we ended up with this weird mishmash because the gameplay is like really dramatic. Like, you could do some crazy fucking shit, blow people up and hack their heads, hack their phones, and hack the grenades that they're carrying to blow up in their pockets, and, you know, missile launchers and machine guns and the whole nine. It's pretty intense, as, you know, third-person action games tend to be. But for some reason, like, every time I go into a cutscene, I feel like I'm watching something that's trying to be funny. Paul, I want your opinion. Should we let Ilamau be a normal chat member? Sure, why not? I mean, if he does something stupid, ban him, but, you know, yeah. He's welcome in the chat. He abused his privileges, but, you know, whatever. I forgive him. You are forgiven. You ever get caught tugging willy? Got caught one time. Well, basically twice. Like, I got physically, like, caught in the midst of the act once. And then I got caught dead to rights by somebody once, but that I was beaten off, but not in the act. So the first time was my mom, and I'd stolen a big bottle of her Jergens lotion because it was the best kind of lube to use to jack off with for me. I was probably like 13, and I was jerking off like a zoo monkey pretty fucking relentlessly. And she came to me and asked for it back, basically. And I pretended I didn't have it. And she was like, well, I sure do hope that it shows up again, you know. And so I knew immediately that she had, you know, she knew what I was doing. The second time, I actually got walked in on in mid-nut. Like, you know, when you've busted and, like, you're actually shooting the jizz. So I used to get off work by, like, noon because I was an opener at Starbucks. So I would get there at, like, 4 a.m. and I'd be off work at noon or 1, right? Which gave me, like, 3 or 4 hours in the afternoon before my girlfriend at the time would get home. And so I used to jerk off a lot during that time because it was time that was totally to me, and I could just be free and just, you know, drop my pants right where I was and follow my whims and find something that was hot and jerk off to it. No worries. And she came home one day because she wasn't feeling well. And it happened to be the day. Now, it wasn't the only day I was jerking off down there, so she may have caught me on another day. But I'm just telling you, the timing was impeccable. I sat down. I dropped my pants right where I sat. Used a little bit of spit. Watching some porn. Was just like, oh, fuck yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, yeah. And then, like, you know, I get all the way to the load, right? And I'm like, and then all of a sudden I hear the door, like right then in the load, right at that moment where you're like, I hear the fucking front door opening. It's like, and I'm sitting right there in the living room at my computer. And I turned around and there was still jism, like, bubbling forth from, you know, the situation. Yeah, right at peak load, dude. You know what I'm talking about, dude. At peak load, it was like somebody planned it. It was unbelievable. Because, like, if she'd have come in at any other time, I probably could have just closed it real quick and just kind of covered up the fact that I had pulled my pants down around to my knees, you know. Just kind of pull them up in the front a little bit and then just be like, oh, I'm sorry, you're feeling bad, babe. I'll be up in a sec. But in that case, dude, I was nutting. Like I was busting a nut. How do you know what I mean? How are you gonna fake it when you're right when you literally have your dick in your hand and there's jizz coming out of your dick? It's like, whoa, what happened? Oh, fuck, what's this? Honey, I just blacked out. It was like I was being controlled. I don't know. What would you do? Like, did she smile? She wasn't that type of girl. She wasn't mad about it, but she gave me a look. I'm going to try and recreate it, but I'm not a woman. It's a look that only women can give. It's like a combination of like deep disappointment, pity, and disgust. It was like, I'm trying to do it because there was a softness in the eyes, but the face was like. And she just walked upstairs and went to bed. And we never really talked about it again. I mean, it came up way later in our relationship as a joke, you know, but it's one of those things that just got buried, you know what I mean? It was just like she was simultaneously grossed out, possibly slightly intrigued, and just like disappointed in men as a rule. I love you, man. I'm a drunk. Cool. I mean, that's not cool. You shouldn't be a drunk. Stop drinking. Save your own life. Think about your children. Wait a minute. That probably makes you want to drink more if you've got them. Disregard that last one. My Highdeology drunks. See? People are coming back slowly but surely. They're revivifying. They're reappearing. And I think that this might answer why it's been kind of slow to start recently. Because it's like, I don't think you get notifications if you're blocked anymore. Or maybe you just can't participate in the chat. I don't know if it unsubscribes you. I don't really care how YouTube's block system works. It's a means to an end. It's a tool for me. Bans don't ban people. People ban people. All right. From my cold, dead hand, will you take my ban? Look who it is. It's Ricklin Manchez. Reborn from the ashes of his former self. Returned to us once again, to the bosom, the fair and wonderful bosom of Highdeology. He returns once again. He does. Yeah, the slowly but surely, I'm like a necromancer right now, dude. I'm literally one by one just walking around to graves of people who are wrongfully killed, and I'm bringing them back to life in small batches until the list, which is so long. Dude, he's been not like I keep going back and forth, I know, but I keep looking at this and I'm realizing the extent of this. He's been knocking them dead for a while, dude. He's been knocking them dead for a hot fucking minute. You know what, dude? There was a guy that DM'd me the other day. I'm trying to remember who it was. It wasn't the other day. It was a while back. So this might have been going on for a long time in little small batches here and there. You know what I mean? But But there was a dude that DM'd me on Twitter and he was like, dude, I got banned out of your chat. And I don't know, like, I'm sorry if I offended you or whatever, but I don't think I did anything. Like, I was just like talking and stuff. And I was like, oh, well, yeah, I'll unban you. And I came and I unbanned him. But I just did it by like searching his name and shit. And I knew there'd be a few people on the list, so I didn't think twice about it, dude. But I bet that guy called it. Yeah, like at least say something about it, Lamel. Like, I'm sorry if I get salty. Will you say something about it? Like, if I give you the like, you this motherfucker will pay. He's. I will destroy this motherfucker. Dude, there's shit on here. I want you guys to understand the extent that Lamau went to and appreciate it or make fun of it or both. Lamau has gone through and banned not only people that routinely post in the chat. Like, let me go ahead and save this one because I just ran across my homeboy Jawan Hart who got banned somehow. So now he's unbanned. There's a good chance he's out there in the chat right now waiting to be unbanned. So there you go, Jawan. You should be unbanned now. Welcome back to the land of the living. We're going through it, dude. We're going through the list. Okay, so he banned people that routinely chat, but he also banned anybody that I know. So like Pimp Monk's like backup streaming channel is on here. It's real weird. Like, it's really strange, dude. Dude, Jawan, that poor guy, man. He probably just got fucking pissed off and went to bed. There's just like all the fucking names, dude. All the recognizable Highdeology regulars are here on the list of the dead, dude. And I'm just walking around. I'm walking to their graves as fast as I can and just resurrecting them back from the fucking dirt to which they returned. Look, Zonster, dude. Zonster's on here. Man, that's fucked. How fucked is that? Well, Zonster and a bunch of other people will. I mean, like, dude, how long was he doing this? Like, that's what I want to know, dude. I want Lamau to talk and like tell me how long he's been doing. Because, like, look, dude, whatever. I don't care. I ain't mad at you. It wasn't what I had planned on doing, this Highdeology, but that just shows you the nature of trolling. You know what I mean? Yeah, dude. Come on, Lamau. Say some shit. Take responsibility and let us know how you did it. Because I'm interested. Did you go through one by one and ban people? Did you have like a bot that you could run and it, like, you know, it would go through and ban whoever, this, that, or the other person? There is also the possibility that Lamau himself was hacked. Like, maybe Lamau had a really insecure Google password or something. And some fucking ne'er-do-well, some agent provocateur was able to get a hold of his account. Yeah, no. You don't understand. Yeah, dude. This list is fucking probably thousands of people long now that I'm looking at it, dude. It is insane. I mean, maybe not thousands, but there's over 1,000 people on this list. Guaranteed. Like, I've probably unbanned 500 or 600 people since I discovered that this was going on at the top of the show. Yeah, I mean, you guys can go ahead if you're wondering and feel free to test in the chat while I'm doing this to see if you have been unbanned. If you're a person that's been banned for a long time and you don't know why. Like, you're not going to piss me off as long as you're not doing it multiple times. Like, if you show up in the chat, then shut the fuck up. No more testing, you know. But yeah, no, there's a really unconscionable amount of people on this list. So he's been doing this for a while. He's been knocking it dead, dude. I wish he would speak. Like, I got no, like, I'm genuinely curious. Like, I want to question him. Like, how long did it take? How long did you plan to do it? Like, what made you turn? If there was indeed a turn, or were you always just a troll who got bestowed with power, who was like, one day I'm going to betray him? And what made you choose today? Because, like, A. Lamau used to talk a lot, too. He used to, like, chill and talk with us. And he's peaced out, huh? Well, ain't that a shame? True empiricism just appears and starts boring us all to death. You're actually wrong. Epistemologically speaking, of course, you're correct. But when you take into account the will and motive of Jesus, as can be extrapolated from the books John, Luke, and Jedediah 7 through 12, you're like, another atheist owned. Oh my goodness. Did y'all see what true insert fake G-Man laugh here? I could never, that's the one part about G-Man I could never do, because he had this laugh that he did when he was like, I guess it was like his laugh all the time, but there were two distinct types of it. Like, when he thought he was right, there was one kind of laugh, right? And then when he knew he was wrong, but he wanted everybody to think he thought he was right, he had a different kind of laugh. Like people do that sometimes. Like, people getting pwned, like, a very common reaction is to laugh. Like, I've been doing it this, you know. A. Lamau pwned me. I mean, look at me, dude. I'm like a secretary over here just clicking X's in this outdated unban system because it can't do a mass unban. Like, he pwned me. Is G-Man still a thing? I wouldn't know, bro. You know, I don't really cover G-Man or any of the old DP antagonists, so I don't know who's hanging around and who isn't. I want to watch an episode of DP just to check on Billy Boy, dude. I miss my Billy Boy. I miss my Philly the Bridge, dude. He gives the best hugs and the best wisdom advice. And he's such a warm guy and a good friend and a good intentioned person. And that's a rare thing these days. I miss my Billy Boy. Nephilim free, dude. Oh my God. Can you imagine like locking Galen, Howard Bloom, True Empiricism, and Nephilim free in a room where they were chained up just out of reach of one another so they could just get close enough to like reach as hard as they could and almost touch each other, and chain them in a room and give them food and watch what happens? I know it would be horribly unethical, but can you imagine that shit, bro? Can you imagine the show that would be? Galen, Bloom, True Empiricism, Nephilim free. And then for like a mid-season twist, Alex Jones shows up and gets locked up in the center of the room. He's the mid-season plot peak. He's the tease into the second season. DFF on Christian, probably not going to happen. We were constantly being pressured by our audience back on DP At least during the time, which was a significant chunk of time, about 8 months, I was doing most of the pulling of stories and videos for DP. Going through all the Facebook shit and finding the submissions and building the show on that end, at least that part of the show. And people wanted us to cover Chris Chan. Like, he was by far and away the most common thing. Dude, have you guys heard of this crazy fucking weirdo Chris Chan? He did this, he did that. And it's like, I knew about Chris Chan way before. I'd been following the Quickie and the staff that like fucking maintained it and reading it and watching the video compilations that people made for a long time. My interest in Chris Chan started when I saw a video that was simply titled Julie. And it was Chris Chan fucking a blow-up doll and screaming the name Julie over and over again. And of course, my initial reaction was, what a loser, what a weirdo, what a chump. And maybe Chris Chan is all those things. I'm not saying he's not necessarily. Oh, poor Lord of Duck was banned too. That was sad. But as I started to look into Chris Chan, I realized that he was basically just a profoundly autistic dude that had other mental problems as well, not just ASD, who was being mercilessly gaslit and trolled by people on the internet for the lulz. And was, you know what I mean? Like, going through this for the lulz. Chris Chan is a sad example of what happens when insular families and lack of proper mental health care. He's an object lesson that's being treated like literal trash. I mean, well, yeah, he's been treated worse than anybody on the fucking internet, dude. There are some, like, if you haven't watched the big old, like, 40-part Chris Chan documentary, you don't even have to watch it all. Watch the first 20 episodes or 10 and tell me it's not some of the saddest shit. And I knew this back in the DP days. And I told the guys, I was like, we shouldn't cover this guy. This guy is mercilessly fucking bullied and gaslit on the internet. And so I don't think that they covered Chris Chan while I was there. And we certainly never made him a main antagonist like people were wanting to be anyway. And there will probably never be a Chris Chan DFF. Now, maybe there will. Maybe one of us will do it at some point. But it's not going to be, look at this weird Spurg Lord. Oh, my God. Look at all the crazy shit he's doing. Like there's been enough people that have just pointed and laughed at Chris Chandler. Like, I'm not going to be one of those people. Chris Chan is a main topic on DP now, unfortunately. I mean, it depends on how they're covering him, too. I mean, look, Chris has to interact with people. Like it doesn't, like, just because, and I think that Chris goes by female pronouns now, so I'm going to use those. I'm not sure, but I think that she, needs to be socialized. Like, she needs people. And it's okay for people to talk about her and to discuss the things that have happened to her and the things that she's done in a way that's funny, but not like, it's kind of like the line I feel like we walked with Gail back in the day, who is an admitted paranoid schizophrenic. And we laughed with her. I really honestly felt like we laughed with Gail. And, Gail's an autonomous person. Whether or not you believe that she's worthy of that or not is really not for you to decide. She lives on her own. She's got an internet connection. She's allowed to upload videos about whatever she fucking wants. And I was never part of any of the people who pretended to be Laurie McBride or Brent Spiner or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? Like, and we always talked about how those people shouldn't do that to her and how that was mean. And like, you know, we just, you know, she was genuinely funny. She had great, like, comedic timing and shit. By the way, I can officially announce that the chat holocaust of 2020, the long darkness, is officially over. If you were banned over the last days or weeks and I didn't realize, mea culpa. I suffered from the same kind of laziness and self-assuredness that all emperors suffer from. And I turned my back, and unfortunately it was not my back that took the knife, but it was yours. But it won't happen again. Who the fuck is this? See, there are people on here who I don't even fucking... Okay, so now I'm going through my fucking... I'm looking at my mods, and there's like at least 3 people here who are not mods. Treaded Water. Does this mean anything to anybody? That's gone. Meds Peds, Blue Noble, Coolman. G Burns. Sounds familiar. It might just be somebody that's not around a lot. A guy named Russian Paul. I think I remember him. I remember these people. Chelsea, Dark Nook. Who's Bode Bill? Get out of here. Spooky. Otello, Jared. Yeah, dude. Like, mods can't mod people, can they? This might have been just shit that was left over from when TJ modded, honestly. This might have been people I didn't catch, because TJ modded a bunch of people when he took over the chat. He was all drunk, and he modded a bunch of dorks. Only you can mod people. Well, TJ has mod... He has shared modding. Yeah, TJ modded people, yeah. But only I can mod people. Okay, yeah. Likely it's just that. Likely it's just people that... It's either people that I modded so long ago that I don't remember their names, or just people that TJ modded. So we good there. All right, I took some people off that list. We cleaned up. We pruned the tree of life a little bit. Only people that I recognize are mods in here. Gail seems pretty unstable to me, so I don't really think it's a question of being worthy of or deservedness. I think it's a question of allowing her to be exposed to the internet. Allowing her? See, like, is Gail hurting anyone living her lifestyle? Is it your contention that Gail, who lives in America, by the way, where there are no, local facilities for most people that deal directly with psychiatric issues, and if they are, they're horrible places to go and be. Do you think that Gail would be better locked up in a padded room somewhere than allowed to live a life where she can interact with people and make a little money on the side and stuff like that? Because I don't think so. But whatever, I guess we can agree to disagree on that, huh? I like it. I love it. All right. Like I said, Saltmageddon, I think, is over. Do you have a favorite album? Favorite? No, I don't really have a favorite album. There's a lot of albums that I like, but none of them do I categorize as my favorite of all time. If I had to pick one, honestly, like if you put a gun in my mouth and we're like, what's your favorite album, or I'll blow your brains out, I'd probably say Pink Floyd, The Wall. It was like the first concept album that I was ever exposed to. Like I'd listened to concept albums before, but it was I remember listening to Pink Floyd The Wall for the first time. It was the first time I realized that like albums, like music albums could be stories as well as just collections of songs. Oh, DFF concept albums would be dope. I would love that to be like a collaborative album or a collaborative episode where each of us picks our favorite concept albums, and then we cross-check, of course, with each other for duplicates, and we just have a big, long discussion episode about them. That'd be kind of cool. What's a concept album? Like it's probably better defined if you look it up, but my, ham-fisted attempt at a definition is it's an album that like follows a theme or a story. So The Wall, for instance, tells the story of this rock star, Pink Floyd, who rises to the highest of heights, but ultimately is haunted by the ghosts of his past. And not only the ghost of his past, but the past of his country and the things that he did and the things that were done to him. And all of these things come crashing down on him as he has like kind of a mental breakdown. That's basically like, it's a very stripped down and very kind of simplified version of the concept of the Wall album. And it's expressed in the film The Wall, for which the Wall album is the unbroken score. So it's a great example of a concept album because it literally has a movie that was made that's the same length as the album is from end to end. Yeah, Tommy by The Who is a concept album. And I didn't know this until recently, but I was chatting with TJ about Manson. I was picking his brain about something about Manson. And I told him, I said, I love how Hollywood is like this concept album like Antichrist was. And he was like, actually, most of his albums, if you listen to it, if you take his word for it, are concept albums. Like he's got, like Manson is somebody who has a story arc in mind for his albums. Was Yellow Submarine a concept album? I'd have to listen to the whole album, and I don't know. Maybe it was. Pink starts to distance emotionally himself from the people around him, but at the end he tears down the wall. That's your interpretation of it. That's never been made absolutely explicit, nor is it made explicit by the film either. You mentioned wanting to make clay models. Are you still planning on doing that? Yeah, I'm not going to do it here because we're going to be moving eventually. I just don't want to buy a bunch of new shit and get a bunch of new equipment, but I'm thinking about actually getting possibly a pottery wheel so that rather than doing clay models that I can actually work some, pottery type of stuff and use the wheel and at the very least play with that and try and mess with it a little bit because I really enjoy working with clay and messing with it. Yeah, and then maybe Patrick Swayze one day will come up behind me and put his muscly arms around my waist and help me sculpt up the perfect vase and then destroy it and carry me to bed and fuck me well and proper. Oh, my love, my darling, I hunger for. And I'll just be like, as he rubs his clay hands all over my chest. Oh, Patrick Swayze. That song, Unchained Melody, by the way, it's kind of sad that it was used in the movie Ghost. Not that I think that Ghost is a bad movie, but it's really what the song is most famous for, probably, is that scene between Demi Moore and Patrick Swayze in Ghost where he sits down behind her at the pottery wheel and helps her mold the clay, and then they break it, and they're all dirty, and he fucks her, and blah, 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 right? An Unchained Melody is playing in the background of that. But that song, I got to tell you, dude, if you asked me, Paul, what do you think the hardest song to vocally perform properly would be? That song would be somewhere near the top of it. I can't remember the name of the person who did Unchained Melody, but it is one of the most fucking jaw-dropping performances ever. It might be the Righteous Brothers. Was it the Righteous Brothers? Yeah, I can never remember who it was that sang it. But that fucking song, man, if you listen to that song and just listen, there's no way I could karaoke that song. Nobody can. Like, anybody that does a cover of that song is likely going to do a shit job unless they're just like an absolute master singer. And even then, it is going to be substandard to that song. There is no matching that vocal performance on that track. It is... I've heard covers of it. Trust me, I've heard Willie's cover. It's good, but I'm just saying. Like, Willie's covers were good always because he just took songs and he made them his, and he put them in his range and he did them his way. And he definitely has a standout good one, but I'm telling you, man, the emotion and the intent behind that performance in the original track is fucking like jaw-dropping. It's like, oh, that is a stunning, stunning fucking song, man. I wish I could play it for you guys, but YouTube would ban me. Isn't that great? Don't we live in a fucking fun dystopia, y'all? Where we can't even sit and discuss a fucking important song and listen to a little bit of it together? I'd be willing to give all my money to the Righteous Brothers and their fucking, recording contract, to all the fucking Streamlabs and Super Chats. But there's just no option for that shit. Like, if there's a thing that I could switch, which was like all Streamlabs, or this percentage of Streamlabs goes to any artists whose works you may use, I'd do it. Like, that seems fair to me, and I'd do it in a heartbeat. Other people may not, but I would be like immediately like, yep, turn that on, tell you guys like, look, still donate and know you're donating to me, but this is just so I can use whatever the fuck I want. Like, if I want to play a song, if I want to play a little bit of a movie, like I can play up to 10 minutes of a movie or any song that I want, and the money goes to those people. Yeah, I always thought he was a little trigger happy with the bands, man. I knew he was trigger happy, and I was fine with that because, like I said, unbanning a single person doesn't really take that long. But he went from trigger happy to like banning whole fucking chunks of people, man. That was crazy. But anyway, who cares? We've moved on. We have moved beyond a Lamau. We're no longer discussing a Lamau. He's yesterday's news. I was actually going to talk about... I'm going to see if I can find it. There's a Reddit thread on the DFF subreddit that blew up, that got kind of big. Like, it's the biggest thread for a while that I can remember in a while. On this. I don't really check it all that often, but I was scrolling down through it today, and here it is. It's called How to Troll Paul Easy. So I thought it was an interesting concept. I thought I'd try and be as objective as possible, because I didn't really read the whole thing yet. I kind of trolled in the comments of it, but I didn't read the whole thing yet, because I thought as soon as I saw it was this long and this kind of popular on the subreddit, I thought this might make good content. So I'm going to save this. So I'm going to do that. I guess we'll take a look at How to Troll Paul Easy. Okay, so I have to fix some stuff before I do this. So I'll have to go down here and do. Let's see. Yeah. There we go. Oh, that doesn't work. Okay. What's happening here? Where art thou, Romeo? I hear a beat. Glunk, glunk. Doot, 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 doot. How sweet. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Okay, window capture. This is the wrong window, though. Can I change it? Okay, that's not gonna work. Sorry, guys. My shit recently got all fucked up. OBS went through an update, and all my shit got broken. And I'm a bad streamer. Anyway. Man, tonight has been a nightmare, dude. Tonight has been the night where nothing works. I'm stymied. I'm opposed and beset at all sides by the machinations of witches on this eve. They think I shall not persist through, but I shall. I shall. I will not be deterred. I will not be deterred nor detained. Okay, here we go. Hallelujah, pass the peas. Let me center my ultra wide here because that should just work. All right, how to troll Paul. Easy. Oh, fuck. I lost it. See, I told you, beset by all sides. And by my own boomerism, I am beset. Look at me. Struggling like a toothless old man. Paul. Let's go through this. Paul. A pool. You know what? I see no reason why I shouldn't do this as well. I can put myself on the screen for this as well. Let me set that up. Yeah. There we go. I think it's this one. No, it's not that one. Well, ain't that a bitch? There I am. Okay, look at this. Hallelujah. It works. There I be, floating in the ether. Okay. Paul often brags about how difficult it is to troll him. And sometimes even states that clever trolling is applauded. It is. I mean, didn't I just prove that tonight? I think I proved that tonight. In reality, this couldn't be further from the truth. I've discovered over the years that Paul is perhaps the most easily trollable of the gang. This is also not true, by the way. Anybody that watches enough DFF knows who the easiest to troll is. There's only, let me put it this way. There's only one of us that has crashed a car because somebody made a cartoon voice at him for 30 minutes. I'll just leave it there. Below are a few easy ways to troll Paul and piss him off during either his live streams or any other activities. Okay. Well, we'll go through these. And I will be complete. Now, here's my intent here. It is not my intent to poop on this guy. He clearly worked hard on this. He put some thought into it. I've read the first couple of them before I decided to do the rest on Highdeology. So he put some thought into this. He or she or they put some thought into this. So I'm going to try and be as objective as I can, and you guys can call me on my bullshit if you think I'm being dishonest or disingenuous. There's a lot of long-time watchers. So we'll go through each one, item by item, each bullet point. But TJ doesn't get as mad during streams. TJ gets just as mad as I've ever gotten during streams. He just doesn't do it as often as I do. Because TJ doesn't court trolls. TJ doesn't even read the chat on his streams. You realize that? Like, or if he does it very seldom. TJ has disregarded you. He's abandoned you all to the wasteland. Would you that I do the same? Would you that I do the same? TJ is way less ban happy. Oh no, that's fine. I will admit that. Yeah, TJ just doesn't care. And I use it as a weapon and a bludgeon as it was meant to. The ban was the greatest thing. Like, you talk about Prometheus receiving fire. No. The first mod on the internet that received the ban hammer, that was the true Prometheus. That was the true fire. It is a power so vast and all-encompassing in the microcosmic universe of whatever, place you have mods on, that, I don't know, you're akin to a god. You're the lord of that place. You decide who lives, dies, eats, shits, breathes. You know what I mean? It's a power that begs to be used, too. It's a power that, just desires to be used. Soon as it gets into your hand, you want to use it. You feel the heft of that hammer, and you're just like, man, I wish a motherfucker would pop his head up tonight. That felt good. Next. So anyway, we're going to go through these one by one. The first bullet point. These are, by the way, to catch you up if you've lost because I've tangentialized. This is a list of things that are apparently things to do to troll me very easily. And that prove that I am, in fact, one of the easiest to troll people ever. Okay, you ready? Paul often, ask him a stupid question. That's number one. Ask him a stupid question. I'll admit this one. Like, I won't even fight on this one. Yeah, stupid questions just... I mean, but is that really trolling, though? Like, at what point this is the broader philosophical conversation that needs to happen that'll never really happen. Is what is trolling and what isn't? Like, what is... Oh my God damn it. This fucking shit. Whoa,
on TJ being your simp.
simping
I
for
think
Vosh.
we
We're
should have
looking at
never
our
given
subreddit
men
now.
the
We're
word
giving a
simp.
tour of the subreddit. Let me see if I can. Thank you. Do you mind if you stay right where you're at for a while? Well, thank you very much. Okay, yeah. Ask me a stupid question. That gets me mad. Is it trolling? Not where I come from, but I guess it's debatable. The second one, ask him about something he's probably doesn't care about. As a true Gen Xer, Paul loves flexing about how apathetic he is to being out of touch. I've actually done multiple streams where I talked about how like I felt like I was starting to get out of touch with music and starting to get like real boomerish, and how I challenged myself to listen to some modern artists and found a bunch of music that I really love and listen to all the time now. So I actually feel like that a lot of my content is the opposite of that. Now, I may have said some things in the past. Many of them might have been in jest. Some of them might have been just in a salty rage. Like, I won't deny that it's possible I might have said something that might have alluded to something like number 2 here. But I'm pretty open about being out of touch. And I'm pretty open about not wanting to be that dude that's like, everything about your generation sucks. Like, I don't want to be that guy that's like waggling his finger at all the kids and going, But whatever, I guess he's interpreted it differently. But I gotta hard disagree with this one. Like, I got a hard disagree with this one. I don't know. That just doesn't sound like, I just don't feel like I do that, but maybe I do it and don't notice. Complain about literally any aspect of his shows. These complaints can be constructive or dumb. It doesn't really matter. He'll get salty. Actually, this is a flawed one because it does really matter. If they're constructive, I don't get mad. And if they're dumb, see question 1, which I already admitted that I would, that gets to me. So if you've asked me a dumb or brought up a dumb concern about the show, then you've just committed the first infraction or whatever, the first trolling attempt here. So this is redundant. That part is redundant, and that's where I disagree with the wording on this one. So yes, I will get really salty if someone comes in to Highdeology and has a stupid complaint about one of my shows that's easily worked out themselves, or something that I literally will not and cannot change. Like, I hate that you guys are not in the same studio together and I'm stopped being, or whatever. They're just going on and on. Like, even if they said that, I probably wouldn't get all that salty. I'd be like, me too. But if they were just hammering it in, like, the show sucks now because you guys are socially distancing, that would get me salty, because it's like, what do you want? You know what I mean? Like, what do you want me to do? What am I supposed to do? Yeah. And once again, like, thanks for pointing it out. Like, I fucking, it makes sense to me. Like, is this trolling? Is like asking me a stupid question and doing it over and over again, is it really trolling? Not where I come from, but whatever. I'll tell you guys a little later what constitutes like actual trolling in my world, and we'll see how our worldviews match up or whatever. But let's move on. Let's get through some of these. Here's a long one. Recommend him something. Paul has stated several times he refuses to like anything that is recommended to him, merely on the principle that he can't give people the satisfaction of being right about his taste in music game. Okay, number one, I've never said anything like that. I've said that when it's drilled into my head from every angle that I have to watch this show, I'm very likely not to watch it. I'm very resistant to like mass. You got to watch this. You got to watch that right now. Oh my God, you got to be into this and you got to be into that. Like, I don't like that and I'm resistant to that. But I watch people's recommendations all the time, especially my friends whose taste in movies that I trust. And, you know, this one I got to have a hard disagree with here because it's got like a total like straw man in it. Paul has stated several times that he refuses to like anything that is recommended to him merely on the principle that he can't give people the satisfaction of being right about his taste in music, games. The entirety of this should be excised completely from the argument because it's something I like. Anybody that's watched me, anybody that's watched me knows that I've never said anything like that. It's preferable if you recommend him something that actually is really good, because the irony is totally lost on Paul that the only person who he's depriving in this situation is himself due to his own stubbornness. This is a silly ass fucking argument right here. Like, yeah, this whole fucking one right here is a hard disagree. So far, we've got one of them that's pretty right, and the rest of them have been pretty bullshit or retreads of ones that we've already talked about. So this list it's not looking too good so far, but whatever. I guess we'll keep going. Talk about stuff from the 90s. This is a bad trolling way. Now, if you were to, you're saying talk shit about stuff from the 90s. It depends. Like, you need to know me, because there's some stuff from the 90s that I'll sit here and rip on. So it's not as easy as just watching, hey, that's what I call 90s on VH1 or whatever the fuck. And, there's certain shit that I fucking think is hilarious about the 90s, and I'll rip on right with you. Like, you got to know a little something about me. So you got to choose your topic. But just blatantly going like, hey, Paul, the 90s suck. It's likely to earn you a ban, but just because it's stupid, not because, So if you just want a ban, just come in here and spam. But I don't think that's trolling either. I don't think that copy pasting the same thing over and over again is trolling, unless the person who's at the receiving end allows it to become lol cow milking, which is a form of trolling. So if that person just obsessively responds to all of these copy pastas and refuses to get what's happening to them, or shows emotion or whatever, then it becomes trolling. But like, if you spam and all that happens to you is somebody just fucking right clicks you and you disappear and you do that over and over again, it's like, that's not trolling. That's just having a sad amount of free time and nothing else to do. And there is a difference, by the way. Talk shit about Gen X. I'm not even a Gen Xer, so you can talk shit about Gen X all you want. I'm basically in between Generation X and millennials. So I exist in my own fucking category, so you can talk shit about Gen X all you want. I repudiate everything they did, and I was a child when their policies came to fruition. Talk shit about California. Once again, let me finish this. Paul will defend anything about his home state of California, from their gay-ass bear flag. All right, this just sounds like somebody that lives in one of the states that has a real bad flag. You know what I mean? I'm getting that vibe off of this. I'm getting that this is a fan of mine that watched that flag stream we did recently where we went through all the state flags and probably lives in one of the flags that got poopied on. You know what I mean? That I poopied on a little bit. But yeah, talk shit about California. Paul will defend anything about his home state of California, from their gay-ass bear flag, which basically a clothing logo for Midwestern white girls at this point more than a flag to their vernacular. Once again, like I was born and raised in California, and I'm steeped in the traditions of my particular part of California. My accent is a California accent, and my thinking in a lot of ways is rooted in the thinking of the people that grew up in my area. But once again, you got to know me. Like, you can't just go like, California bad, or I went to California and it sucked, LMAO. Like, I'm not going to fly into a fucking uncontrollable rage or even really acknowledge you at that point. Like, once again, like, if you catch a band in here, it's very simple. You're in fucking lots of company. Like, bands get tossed around in here, and you can ask. My fucking Spectres will probably back me up on this. Maybe they disagree. If they do, it's cool. But like, I'd say probably 80% of the bands are not trolling. They are just people being stupid, being too stupid to exist in here. That's really what the charter of the Spectre is to really, first and foremost, cull the stupidity, skim the stupidity from the top of this so that we can get down to the sweet cream, you know? Does that mean you trolled me because one of my mods read your fucking incoherent question and thought you were too stupid to have a conversation and banned you? I guess so, according to this guy's list. Oh, he's doubling down on this by his third one is talk shit about Gen X stuff from California in the 90s. Sure, once again, there are certain things about California in the 90s and in the 80s. By the way, I grew up just as many years in the 80s as I did in the 90s. I was born in 1980, so you're missing a potential trolling thing that should be obvious to you if you've done your research. But, good trolls do their research. But you missed I'll help you out. You missed a whole generation that you can talk shit about that I have a very deep connection with because I got to live through two. I know you're in a couple of years you'll be at two as well, and you'll have lived through two. Ask a bunch of questions about the other cast members. He gets jealous. It's kind of cute. I mean, if other people say I do this, I'm willing to like cop to like maybe being annoyed, but why would I be jealous of other cast members? I'm a part owner of the business. I own a third of the business that is Pessimist Productions, and everything that my fellow cast members do feeds my pocket as equally as it feeds theirs, and the same is true of me. Like, what would be the root of my jealousy in that situation? I never once got the impression you're jealous of the other dudes. I mean, I don't know, maybe like what they're like, I won't say that I've never been jealous of TJ and Scotty or for something. Like, they get a new car that's cool and I can't afford to get one, or they live in a house that's better than mine or whatever. You know what I mean? Like the base human jealousy shit. Like, I felt that towards everybody that I know at some point. But as far as like the type of jealousy that's implied here is like what? Like, what would be the object of my desire that would what would my green-eyed monster be pursuing in an equal three-sided partnership where I have full creative input and full creative control pending the fucking, you know what I mean, vetoes of my cast members and vice versa. So whatever. Anyway, I disagree with that one, but once again, if there's like if this dude wants to go and make a compilation of me like being all jelly or whatever, and I am, then I'll cop to it. But it's definitely not. It's subconscious if it is. Blah 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 blah. Where were we? Oh, okay, another big long one here. Make him defend a shitty take. A few weeks ago, he spent like 45 minutes on a stream talking about how Keemstar is a hilarious YouTuber who is not at all at fault for the shit he's connected to or to the continued antics of his fan. Is another thing I never said. Like there's people in the room now that were in the room during that stream. Did I ever say that Keemstar was, quote, a hilarious YouTuber, or that he was not at fault for any of the things that he's done that are scummy and shit? Like, I don't remember saying that. I remember saying I laughed at him back in the day when he was trolling people on Halo. Is that, you know what I mean? And that I kind of laugh at him now. I kind of laugh at how just like invoking his name is like kicking a bee's nest. You know what I mean? And people get all fucking like there are these things in humanity that when they are invoked in a public setting, it causes that very thing that I just did, that rabble of people constantly. And any personality, no matter how scummy they are, that invokes that in people uniformly is somebody that I think is pretty interesting. And dude, who gets more on the internet than Keemstar does? You know what I mean? Like if there was like a GTA style stat tracker for your life, Keemstar would have fucking way more than anybody. Like his number would be like fucking 10 billion, and the next nearest person would be like, 5 million or some shit. It would be absurd. So whatever, you know what I mean? Like if I had a shitty take on something and you forced me to defend it, yeah, I might get salty, but you gotta actually pull a take of mine. I think that would be a place to start, but whatever. I gotta disagree with that one again. Sorry. Ask what his favorite anything is. Yes, this one is totally true. This one I'll cop to. The root of this, as far as I can tell, is the fact that I've now been doing this type of streaming for longer than most streamers. I was doing this type of streaming and calling it stick, ham, and beer back before like IRL streaming of this type was even being done. Like it was like a very niche thing when I started doing it. So I've been live streaming pretty consistently for a very, very, very long time. And I now do it for a job. And so you can imagine if it is something that is common to humanity, especially American humanity, like going to the movies, eating a food, seeing a city, whatever the fuck. I've answered it probably 200 times now. I have probably answered every basic getting to know you type of question. And that's really what I think of those questions as. And like, it kind of sucks because maybe there might be some new people that pop over here. The channel does grow, albeit slowly, but new people are trickling over here from somewhere. And maybe there is a new person that's like, hey, well, what's this guy all about? And they, in good faith, they ask a really rudimentary question like, say, Chappie, what would your favorite movie be? And, I'm just like, It's also used to troll me because this guy's right. That one is right. Like, I've now answered what my favorite everything is so many fucking times that it does get me salty when I look at my chat, when I dip back to the well of the chat for a second and all I see is, "Hey Paul, what's your favorite? Like, you have a least favorite? What's your least favorite and most favorite, Paul Zigo?" People are always trying to find these endless variations. Like, they won't use the word favorite. But they'll be like, "If you had to pick just one album, what would it be?" And it's like, that's what's your favorite album. Yeah, your favorite fast food? Paul, what's your favorite? You know, and it just goes on, and it's forever. So yeah, that one's right. It does get me salty just thinking about it. So of course, dealing with it is going to make me salty. And finally, what are your favorite ways? What are your favorite ways to piss off? Let's see if there's anybody that has anything to add. No. Oh wait, there's this guy had, whoa, I think I went to his whole ass. Whoa. Hey, look, it's Billy. Hi, Billy. Is it Billy's birthday? This is old. No, it isn't. Is it Billy's birthday? Dude, it's Billy's birthday? Dude, he ain't gonna answer. He gonna be a busy boy that's partying tonight, but I'm gonna try and call Billy. Dude, if there's a day to pick up the phone and call a brother, it's gotta be on his birthday.
Hello?
Billy.
What's happening?
Happy birthday, my dude.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say happy birthday to you, my friend.
Oh, you have to.
It's been a long. I'm actually streaming, and I was looking at my Twitter, and I saw you holding your cake, looking sexy as fuck. And I wanted to say, yeah, dude, I had to tell you happy birthday.
Appreciate that, brother.
So anyway,
Stream going, everybody chilling?
oh yeah, everybody's chilling. I won't keep you on your birthday. I know you're busy as fuck, but I just wanted to wish you a happy one. Did I wake you up, Billy?
I'm not asleep yet. I'm about to.
I woke Billy up.
Got my bedtime voice going.
Dude, I woke Billy up. I'm sorry, brother.
It's all good. I'm heading to bed, so you're my good night kiss.
Oh shit, that's so sweet. I'm so glad. Good night. Good night, Good night, Billy.
Good night.
Good old Billy, dude. He's probably pretty mad at me right now, but he deserves to be made mad on his birthday. I can't spank his ass. What, like, how old is he? Like 35 or 36 or something? Like, that's what the tradition where I'm from is, like, however many years you are, everybody gets to come and spank your ass that many times. So my version of that for Billy is I call him at 2 a.m. or whatever it is where he's at. Let me figure this out. 4-3. It's 3:30 in the morning over there. It's a little inconsiderate, but hey, dude, it's not like I'd be calling Billy. not like I'd be calling Billy all the time, you know what I mean? That's his version. That's his version of the ass spanking he deserves on his birthday. You got shoulder punched at school. What? Who? Dude, everybody used to get shoulder punched at my school. It used to be a thing. We used to play this game called Open Chest, which is worse than a shoulder punch. It's like everybody at the school was playing whether you wanted to or not. And if you were just standing there with your chest not covered like this, like if you're just standing talking to somebody, somebody would walk by and just sock you in your chest and be like, open chest, bitch. Or slap you hella hard, too. They would do that. That was like a meme in my elementary school. So don't talk to me about getting socked in the arm, bitch. I was raised at a time where everybody got socked. And let me tell you, dude, it was fucked up. You try and shame me for my fucking nerdiness when I grew up in a time that's tougher than anything going on now, dude. I grew up in the rough and tumble times when parents didn't have to have giant flashlights lead their kids around on Halloween. Can you guys believe it? On Halloween, you know what I did? You guys, it's gonna be fucking crazy, dude. You guys are gonna think my parents are fucking nuts, but I just have to say it. I went around my neighborhood with a bunch of kids that were my same age and around my age, and I trick-or-treated, and I like sometimes did some mischievous stuff. Back in my day, yeah, I love the call out on that one. Back in my listen to this old toothless grandpa. Back in my day, kids were free to roam the streets on their own and weren't constantly attended by helicopter parents that keep them on literal leashes. Shut up, old man. I loved having my mom literally look at everybody's door like they were a fucking serial killer. And I loved having my mom everywhere I went, man. Oh, hell yeah, I snuck out, bro. Sneaking out was a staple when I was a fucking kid. I mean, there were times where I had to be home. Like, I had a curfew. I'm not saying I could roam forever. Paul, I'm walking down a long, dark, dingy alleyway. Could you tell me a tale to help you through? A tale of warmth? Sure. When you're walking in darkness, a tale of warmth and sunshine can often be just the cheer that you need to push away the dark things that are, I'm sure, looming in your mind as I speak to you. So let me tell you a little story about a man who tended his sheep on a grassy field where every day it was springtime. He would tend his small herd of sheep on fields of endless daisies that the sheep would feed on, and he would sell both the daisies and the sheep's wool at the market. And one day, he had this black sheep, and it was the only one. And he was, like I said, he had a very small flock. He had this black sheep that he'd never sheared because he was afraid that it was bad luck. But then one day, he'd kind of developed kind of a friendship with the black sheep, and he realized there was nothing wrong with the black sheep. That the black sheep was, he was just misunderstood. And he said, I'm going to shear that black sheep today, and I'm going to sell that rare black wool at a fine price. So the man waited until night so that none of his neighbors saw him shearing a black sheep. Because back then, of course, you'd be accused of witchcraft if you were shearing a black sheep. So he waited until very late at night to shear the sheep. He began to just do it automatically. You know, he was a herdsman after all. He was a sheep herder, so he could shear a sheep with his eyes closed and upside down and his hands tied behind his back, you know. Starts shearing away at this sheep. And he looks first at the product, as farmers do. They, you know, looked around the sheep and saw all that beautiful black wool. And then he was like, I wonder what that black sheep looks like under that. And he looked up, and a skeleton popped out. John Doe, nice try. John Doe says right after I drop the fucking atom bomb, is a skeleton gonna pop out? Hey, Quick Sticks Productions. If your overall experience is meh, I can help you find one of the literally millions of entertainers that are trying to make it on the internet right now by making you the first addition to my recently cleared ban list. How do you feel now? You'll be a good boy? That's a good boy. I thought you would. Let me talk about that, because that's another thing that should have been on the list. That very flawed list we looked at is like good ways to troll me. Would be to say that whatever I'm working on is boring while I'm working on it. So like it's fine to like leave, like for example, here's the example I go back to, because even if it's not commonly done now, I still think it's a very, very solid example. So if I go to a theater, right, a movie theater or a live performance, and the performance sucks or the movie sucks, I will get up and I'll leave. Right? And I might even go to the manager and ask for my money back or whatever the fuck. But you know what I'm not going to do? As I'm leaving, go ho hum to anybody that's also watching as loud as I can. I'm outie. I'm just, this one's a boring one. You know what I mean? We don't even care whether or not we care. What's your favorite theater concession stand treat, Paul? Popcorn. I'm a purist, man. I just like popcorn. Just give me a bucket of popcorn. What's the worst experience you've had at a theater? I think the last time I streamed, I talked about the only movie I've ever walked out on. So I'll tell you, like, an actual theater, the only show I've ever walked out on. It was crazy, dude. And it may not have the impact that it did to me, because it was stuff that a lot of it was stuff that, like, I think most people don't really realize is kind of taboo. So I went and saw I had season tickets at the Soroyan Theater in Fresno, and they did this Broadway, a tour of Broadway shows that would come through, and a lot of them were really good. A lot of them were like off-Broadway productions from New York that would travel. So I got to see Wicked and all these crazy good shows and shit from, I got to see like 3 a season or some shit. And one of them one season was Oliver Twist, which I was like, whatever. I mean, it's I've never seen it live, so I guess that's cool, but kind of wish I could have seen something a little new, but whatever. It's cool. Oliver Twist, I'm willing to. It's theater, you know what I mean? It'll be cool no matter what the story is. That's always, my optimism walking in to sit down and see Oliver Twist, or any theater performance. And so I'm sitting there and I'm waiting, and I'm sitting there with my ex-wife, and I notice, I kind of notice at some point that wasn't this thing supposed to kick off at 7? It's 7:30. And the whole crowd is kind of realizing it as well. And at the same time, I kind of looked up because I'd been having a conversation. I kind of looked up at the stage, and on the apron of the stage, which is what sticks out in front of the curtain, was a bunch of actors in full dress. So dressed like early 19th century London waifs and shit, right? But adults, top hats and fingerless gloves and chimney. And they were just milling around and talking to each other. And it wasn't part of the show. It wasn't some avant-garde shit. That one of them was stretching, and one of them pulled out their phone at one point. It was just and I was like, wait a minute. I said, are the people that are playing the characters just milling around on the stage before the show starts? It doesn't matter what they look like, and it doesn't matter that that the anticipation and the illusion of theater doesn't matter. And by the way, forget meeting all the actors at the end of the performance after the spell has been cast on you. Here are all the actors before the performance pretending you, the audience, don't exist and farting around on stage reading their phone. And I left. You might think whoa, dude, that's an overreaction. But that, to me, as a person who's worked in theater and has been in quite a few shows and who appreciates theater, I've seen more shows than I've been in. I can't think of something more disrespectful than that. Literally showing such a lack of care for what you're doing that you are just absolutely just pooping all over the fucking suspension of disbelief and the spell that's woven by a really well done play by walking around in your costumes. I was in high school, and I would have been mortified if the audience saw me fucking in my costume and shit. And that was when I was in high school plays and shit. And here I am as a grown-ass man who paid a lot of money for the season tickets for this thing. And I'm like, are those actors really just going to mill around? And they did. For whatever technical problem was going on, probably wasn't their fault. But I sat there and I watched them for about 10 or 15 minutes, just stretch and talk to each other and pull out their earbuds and huh? And help each other with their makeup and just mill around in their costumes. And I was like, honey, I hate to do this, but is it okay if we leave? And she goes, of course. She thought something was wrong with me. And when we got out, I explained to her, and she was like, oh, well, I'm glad we left. She was like, I was about to say something about that. That was, really weird. And I was like, dude, it was beyond weird. That's a cardinal rule of theater is if you're an actor in theater, you're not seen in your costume until the show starts and the curtain goes up and the lights come up on you, unless it's part of the show. So yeah, that's the only time I ever walked out of a theater and I honestly, and you might call me a fucking Karen for this, but I asked for a refund of that portion of my season ticket, and I got it too, for both of our season tickets. Because I told them what happened on the stage, and they were like, "Are you serious?" Yeah. So I was refunded a third of my ticket, so I made sure those people didn't make my fucking money. Because fuck that. You got no respect for theater, you better not even stand up on the stage in front of me, because I'll know it immediately. I'll smell the stink of it on you immediately. They didn't even get a chance to utter one half-assed line that night. At least not to me. I got my money back and I got the fuck up out of there. It's funny. I'm sure it must have been an artistic choice. Oh, yeah. It was something to do with the show. I'm sure it wove right into the show seamlessly. No, it was clear it didn't. Like, they were being loud, and but not loud in a way that they were trying to draw it. Like, they were just completely oblivious to the audience and laughing with each other and just sitting around and wearing parts of their costumes and, changing their shoes and bitching and looking bored and reading their scripts and shit. And it's just like, dude, not only would I have been mortified if somebody had seen me in fucking my full fucking costume and shit before the play started, but my fucking drama teacher would have killed me. So I wouldn't have had to be mortified for long. My drama teacher would have fucking murdered me. And we're talking about high school productions. This is a off-Broadway touring show. Some people's dream. Some people, that's the kind of actor they want to be. They want to be an actor that gets, not necessarily, I mean, they want to try for the big Broadway shows, but primarily they understand that most people aren't going to get that work. So they want to go for these off-Broadway things like, oh, Beauty and the Beast is doing a revival off-Broadway and then it's going to tour. I want to try out for that because if I get signed to that, I get bank for 6 months. I'm paid. That's a great working gig. And there's a lot of them, well, before COVID, there's a lot of them going around. What's your favorite species of tree? I don't know that I have one, bro. Is that okay? I like how foreboding the Joshua tree looks. You guys can Google it yourselves, because fuck that. I'm done. I'm not doing a fucking thing else. We're not looking at anything. We're not talking. I'm done. Spent the whole goddamn motherfucking night unbanning people to being betrayed by one of my own. And quite frankly, gentlemen, I don't know. What you saw earlier would have been the reaction of Grand Moff Tarkin if someone had betrayed him and he found out at a meeting in front of everyone. Actually, I've got to say, part of me kind of respects the man. It is quite the scam. He's done quite the damage to our databanks. 1,000 at least end users have been denied access for who knows how long. Investigations are ongoing. And when you've been bested, it's best to admit it. But inside, I've been Darth Vader. I've been like, he will be hunted down and destroyed. And his family will go before him. And his family's family will go before them. And his entire line going back to the beginning will end. His entire planet will be destroyed. Any planet that deals with his planet will be destroyed. Thomas or Heck, you got one more favorite question, and I don't mean ask me one more. I mean, if you ask one more, I'm gonna shit ban you and ban anybody that even smells like it might be you in perpetuity until your children die on a burnt out world because of our collective greed and malpractice in keeping the environment. I want those plans for the band hammer. Yeah, dude. You gotta get that band hammer. Telling you what, man. You ain't lived until you've had that band hammer. Until you've wielded that power. Get on your knees and ask Cop Mala for forgiveness. I know. Oh, shit. I better hit my knees right now. All I want to say is that they don't really care about us. Why is that song stuck in my head right now? I got no fucking clue. That fucking Michael Jackson song. If Martin Luther was living, he wouldn't let this be. All I want to say is that they don't really care about us. Maybe it's because it's like a really forward-looking song that is really eerie to listen to now. Because he used all this apocalyptic imagery at the time of like stormtroopers, like, and like all this like totalitarian shit. And like all that shit has come to be. And he's dead and labeled a pedophile. I wonder, dude, I just wonder. I wonder if some of the accusations against him might not be true. I wonder if all of them might not be true. I do know where I stand on Michael Jackson. I don't care what he did in his life. His music stands apart from him as a person for me. Like, it does suck. Like, if he did hurt children, that sucks. But I'm not going to feel guilty for listening to Bad or whatever the fuck if he hurt children. Just like I'm not going to feel guilty for reading Mein Kampf if I choose to, or guilty for, you know what I mean, doing the research for a Jeffrey Dahmer episode that tries to paint him with some measure of sympathy so that we can try and understand how he became what he is. It's just like, I don't have that problem. I can like it, and it's kind of a Christian thing, honestly, that I think maybe is where I picked it up. Hate the sin, love the sinner. That was repeated to me throughout my childhood. And if you take the religious weight off of it, I think it's actually a sound piece of advice. It's like, I repudiate anybody that hurts any other person in any way. You know, I don't stand for that. I don't do that in my personal life, and I don't stand behind people that do that. That said, you know, if somebody is revealed 30 years later to have, you know, been a wife beater or a child molester, does that take the balance of what they created while they were here on Earth and flush it completely down the toilet? Because now, like, maybe some people can't listen. Like, that's the thing, is like, it's a personal thing for some people, and I'm not trying to shit on that. Like, maybe some people just can't listen to, you know, Man in the Mirror, or, you know, Earth Song, or, you know, whatever the fuck. PYT. That one's particularly uncomfortable for them or whatever the fuck. Because they feel a certain way about fucking Michael Jackson. I don't really share that. Like, I don't know, man. I listen to Gigi Allen's music, and he was a totally degraded, totally horrible human being. Openly horrible in almost every conceivable way. If you name it, he was into it. If it's something that a horrible person would be into, he was all about it. And I throw on some Gigi every once in a while. If you've got cancer, then go fucking die. If you've got AIDS, spread it around and spread... what does he say? If you got AIDS, spread it around and take some lives. Die when you die, we're gonna die. Love it. It's about that specific topic that you can't separate the art from the artist when art is about the wrong they've done. If it's about that specific topic, then you can't separate the art from the artist when the art is about the wrong they've done. Okay, but like Michael Jackson wrote some songs about what about the children, what about this and that. But the balance of his music, especially the music that made him super popular, made him into the world's most famous person while he was alive, and probably the most recognizable person in the world that has ever lived. Like if you want my opinion, what's going to happen in the post-apocalypse is there will be pictures of Michael Jackson chiseled on shit because he is deeply ingrained in people's brains. You don't understand, man. Dude was the type of celebrity that just kind of doesn't exist anymore. Like the closest thing we have is like Beyonce and Jay-Z and Kanye and Kim, you know, like those are probably the closest, but even they are just like Kanye could grow out a beard and put on a pair of glasses and go to Dubai and nobody would know it was him. If Michael Jackson stepped one toe into Dubai, there would be a throng of fucking people. Like that dude was literally fucking insanely loved by people. And so there are people, and I might be one of them, that are defensive of Michael Jackson's art simply for that reason, because they share a piece of that love for him. And I would be lying if I said that I didn't. I was raised in the 80s and the 90s when Michael Jackson was arguably at the peak of his career, certainly at the peak of his stardom and productivity as a star. And I was there. I got to see Michael Jackson in concert in LA during the Bad Tour. A privilege. The dude's music is fucking transcendent. It is like there is so much raw talent and emotional fucking nuance in his voice, and it's so unique. He has the most unique singing voice maybe ever in the history of ever. Especially if you take into account like the mass appeal of it. Like there might be people that sing weirder than Michael Jackson or have stranger voices than him. But in terms of somebody that was just an absolutely peerless performer in the way he was, I don't think anybody touches him, dude. I think Michael Jackson, towards the end of his life, could sing most people on the planet completely under the table when it comes to his kind of music. My favorite song by him is Given to Me with Slash. It's seriously a perfect rock anthem. Yeah, that's a pretty decent one. I typically don't like his later music as much, but that's not super late. He did that pretty like mid-career or whatever the fuck, if I'm remembering correctly. But yeah, I don't know. I've never been a huge fan of it, but I could see it. you're a rock dude. You're definitely a fucking way more of a metalhead than me. So I'm a fan of his soft shit, dude. It's hard for me to pick a favorite one. But if you want to know what my favorite Michael Jackson songs are, look towards the ballads and the dirges. Opinion on Paranoid Android as a song. I think it's great. Thanks for asking. Really, that's not what I expected. Usually people love his upbeat stuff. No, man. I mean, I love that too. Like, I really love, like, you know, his big kind of charting radio hits. And a lot of the songs I love charted really well too. Maybe not as high as, like, his poppy shit always was his strong suit. You know what I mean? In terms of, like, his most popular songs. But, like, I loved Man in the Mirror. I loved some of the songs off of Bad that never really got to the radio waves, because there's some pretty crazy ones in there. I love what's the name of the song? I'm brain farting. It's late and I'm high. What's going on, dudes? What's going on, my Jude? What's going on, my Jude? I am a Radiohead fan, yes. I don't like everything that they make, but I do like a lot of the things that they make. What do you think of Michael Jackson's movie? Which one? I got to see Captain EO at Disneyland, a movie that has been rarely seen by human beings that haven't had the privilege of sitting in the special Captain EO theater. No, I think it's available for everybody. But I got to see Captain EO in the Captain EO theater in Disneyland when I was a kid. Man, I got to tell you how jazzed I was about that. Captain EO, dude, he was fucking, dude, it was so bad ass. What do you think Trent Reznor's work as a composer? I mean, whatever. Get out of here. It's just a nothing. I think he's good. Like, what do you want me to say beyond that? I don't know. It just does. It's not a great prompt for me. He's good. I like his work as a composer way better than I like his work as the frontman for Nine Inch Nails. And I'd say the last probably 15 years or more, he hasn't made a Nine Inch Nails song or property that I have enjoyed. So, but the Social Network soundtrack and a number of the other ones that he's been involved in have all been really competent and really good. And I think he's found his calling, and I hope he continues to do that and continue to push the boundaries on that. Do you enjoy Metalocalypse and or Death Clock? No. I enjoyed listening to some of Death Clock's songs, but I have a thing. And look, dude, there's no accounting for taste, okay? I'm not shitting on anybody that listens to music like this, but I can't listen to Muppet metal. Like, if I get a song and it starts off like, and I'll be like, oh shit, awesome. And then it gets to the vocal and it's like, You know, I'm just like, oh my God. I just see fucking Oscar the Grouch popping out of his trash can going. Like, what the fuck, dude? How about Metallica? Metallica can eat a fat pile of dicks, dude. That's how I really feel about them. I've sucked it up all these years because, look, I'll admit to something. Metallica's made some songs that are genuinely really good. In particular, they did an album where like they had an orchestra that backed them. And I think they did Master of Puppets or something, but it was all done with an orchestra. And that was pretty amazing. So I'm not going to say they're totally irredeemable shit, but Metallica is just given way too much deference. It's mentioned too much. It's overplayed. I never really liked it all that much in the fucking first place. I was never a fan. I've never owned or worn a piece of Metallica merchandise. I can't say I've never gone to a Metallica concert because I did go to one, but in my defense, I walked out. It was a festival concert and Metallica was headlining. They were the last to play, and I left to beat the crowd because it was just Metallica, and fuck Metallica. And like, dude, I'm not trying to poop on anybody's shit. Like if you're a fucking big ass Metallica fan or you like Muppet Metal and shit, like I'm not trying to, like, dude, I don't gotta listen to it. So what the fuck do I care? You know what I mean? I ain't gotta listen to the fucking shit. I ain't gotta listen to shit that I don't like to listen to. I can just I live in a time, and this blows my mind because I'm a boomer. And I lived at a time where you had to listen to whatever was on the fucking radio and watch whatever was on the fucking TV. But I live at a time where I don't have to watch or listen to a single fucking thing that I don't want to. And I have so much more choice, and it's so much easier for me to watch whatever I want now than it was when I was a kid. Why is everybody more bored now? Because that's something that's really struck me as I've gotten older, as I feel like people are bored. And I didn't run into a whole lot of bored people when I was a kid. People are fucking bored. Overload? Yeah, overload, burnout, overexposure, something, right? Something's got to be behind it. Too much choice, man. A glut of choice. The unanswerable problem of capitalism. What happens when inevitably people don't care about anything because there's too much to choose from? We've actually reached that point in society. There have been studies done that the fact that there are so many brands, is particularly in America. America is one of the more egregious places. China is also like this. The more brands there are, the more anxiety that people feel when they're shopping, and the more negative implications that they start to associate with those brands. And so brands that exist in a market where there's a glut of options tend to be absorbed very quickly. But still, the paradigm remains high. Like, Americans don't want just one or two or three cereals, even though, like, honestly, if you reduced what Americans had fucking available to, like, Raisin Bran, Cheerios, and fucking Fruit Loops, Americans would get over it and be fine with it and still love those cereals and probably have a whole lot less anxiety when they went shopping. You know, they'd be like, I got the Fruit Loops 2 times in a row. Let's get the Raisin Bran. All right. Get 2 because we go through them quick. I know, I got 2. It's not like looking at the wall going, Honey Crisps, Honey Pops, Honey Bunches of Oats, Honey Nut Cheerios. I think that's all the honey options. But that hasn't even touched the fruity options. Let's go through the fruity options. And as you're doing this, you know, a fucking sense of dread and creeping malice is, you know, draped over the whole fucking rack, you know, and it's like the Grim Reaper himself is looking at you, and his finger is pointing down, not in any particular fucking, you know, box of cereal, but just at the rack, like, choose. That's the implicit choose. And you're just like, dun, 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 dun. Honey Nut Cheerios. Oh, honey, we've gotten Honey Nut Cheerios 15 times in a row. Hasn't been 15, Margaret. It hasn't been 15, Margaret. Oh, can we not do this here? Keep your voice down. My voice is at a perfectly fine level, Margaret, and it has not been 15 times in a row. Well, however many times in a row it's been, it's too many for me. Can you please pick a different cereal? Why do I always have to pick? Because everything I pick, you'll say no to. Oh yeah, try me. Okay, fine. I would like grape nuts. Oh, of course you pick grape nuts. Grape nuts are the worst. Grape nuts are the worst fucking cereal on the rack. You pick grape nuts on purpose. I happen to like grape nuts. You do not. You're just being a cunt. You picked it because you're a cunt. Did you just call me a cunt? Shh. Keep your voice down. You called me a cunt and then you told me to keep my voice down. Please. Please, Madeline. Don't start a scene in the cereal aisle. I actually like grape nuts, I know. Grape nuts get a bad rap, dude. Grape nuts are pretty good. Anyway, I'm quite frankly horrified by what we've created tonight, but we've done it again. We've given birth to yet another headless, multi-tentacled, bestial monstrosity that is going to rampage across our little corner of the internet for all eternity and will be remembered for never. It was real and it was fun, but it wasn't real fun. Take care till next time, guys. Thank you. Bye.